Happy New Year. It is now that time of the year. I'm super excited for what 2017 is going to bring for all of us. And I'm excited for all the new people I'm going to work with, and all the new people I'm going to meet, and all the new places I'm going to go, and just generally super excited. I am currently starting a new 3-month program in the new year to really just get better and really pay attention to my technique and my form a lot better. Or if you're like me, you just like to surf the internet and look at people train. I guess that's a good thing that I do what I do. I'm gonna take January and really focus on going back to the basics, which I am not super psyched on. It is definitely one of my faults. I hate going back to the basics, and I'd rather just lift really heavy, but I know that in order to do that, I need to really hone in my technique and my form. Note, I am also doing, this first month, I'm doing 20 minutes of cardio pretty much every day except for my rest day. But not all of it is steady state cardio. There's a few days, especially on my really heavy push days or leg oriented days, it is very low steady state, pretty much just to get my body warmed up and cooled down. And then I have a whole day that is dedicated to plyometrics and explosive movements and high intensity training. So I am switching it up a bit. It is rep ranges between 12 to 15 or 15 and 20, lower weights. And then in my second month, I'll be focusing on pretty much like hypertrophy with a mix of max strength. So definitely going to strength. Those of you from NASM is definitely working a 1 month of stabilization endurance. Second month hypertrophy strength. So hypertrophy or max strength. There's definitely some in there as well. And then my third month is primarily power and max strength. So still keeping a lot of 5x5s in my basic movements all through the month. And then I have straight sets. So this month a lot of my straight sets are between 12 and 15 reps. And next month will be 8 to 10. And then the following month will be 8 to 10 or 5 in my power moves. So if you guys do follow me on Instagram, I'll put the link in the description below. I have been using their really great service of their live stream lately. Follow me down in the link below. Give this video a like if you like these kind of videos and you want to see more of my training, and also give a comment down below for stuff that you guys are interested in seeing. If you want to see a full day of eating, or what's in my gym bag, or how I do programmings, or one certain move that you guys want help with, how do I develop a program for myself, my background, my story in fitness, anything you guys want to do, I'm trying to make 2017 the year where I do that for you guys, and are becoming more available for everybody that is outside in the world. I just want to meet the most people and travel places, and so let's get into the film, and I'll show you guys a little peek into my training. Alright, bye. Alright guys, so starting off, definitely every day making sure I roll out before I even dynamically warm up or cardio. Just a disclaimer, this is what I need to do, so if you need to properly know what you need to roll out, what your tightness spots are, please go to a trainer or contact me so you can get assessed properly. Right here, I also try to add some mobility as well. You can see just opening up that T-spine, even on a push day or a leg day like that, making sure to really get that mobility in my T-spine, since I do have an issue of coming excessively forward. So also activating my diaphragm breathing here. So big inhales and exhales like I'm blowing out a candle. And definitely opening up my chest. That is one of my weak spots, or not weak, but very tight spots. So that's a huge part of why I come over in things like squats like that. So definitely taking the time to open up the body, parts of my bodies that are pretty tight. Everybody's different depending on your lifestyle or your patterns of how you have been working out. So like I said, definitely contacting a trainer. This is a huge benefit of a trainer. We are knowledgeable in these things and know how to do this. Also, just because you're working out, you want to get the best out of your performance. Everyone wants to see results. So this is a huge primer of that. So from after that, going straight into some dynamic warm-ups. So for today, I am doing not alternating, but side lunges here. Trying my best to keep that torso up. That's why I used the reach. Or putting my hands on my shoulder is also a great way to do this, just to make it a little bit harder and progress it a little bit more. But hitting 10 on each side. I choose to go to one side and then do another, just because I think you should balance out each side of your body. That will be a recurring theme in this workout. So definitely going for a 10 on each side here. Trying to definitely step out as far as I can, but keeping my toes nice and straight. Definitely dynamic warm-ups are great, because even before cardio gets your body all nice and warmed up, ready for action, you're going to see more success doing a dynamic warm-up that versus just hopping right into squats or a heavy lift. Your body's going to be more prepared for the tension you're putting it underneath. So definitely I'd at least get 3 in. Also stretches as well as activates. Then from here, just doing some plain body weight squats. Definitely trying to keep the torso up, so you can see I'm not going all the way down for depth, and I'm adding a reach in here to really keep that torso up. So the way I tell clients is coming down, blowing out like a bunch of birthday candles. That will really activate that core to really keep you upright. And not really going for depth, really just going for a straight, strong lumbar spine. From there, I went straight into front lunges with a twist, really just opening up that oblique again, activating the core, also keeping the torso up, just preparing myself for some more motion and really getting my body prepared to be under stress. So you can see I alternate here. Again, 10 on each side. Same with the squats. Hit about 10 for my dynamic warm-up. I don't go more than 10 minutes on a warm-up. It's just to add some mobility as well in there, because that is huge in life, and we should just also practice mobility. All right, from there I went straight into core exercises. So 10 to 12 of these leg lifts here. I put my hands underneath just because I'm really trying to activate that transverse abdominis, is kind of weak on me. And then from there, a single leg plate overhead sit up, alternating on each side, 10 on each side. Really trying to keep up in that L-right position. From there, I get into some work here. So kettlebell swings, 15 to 23 rounds. I believe I'm using a 30-pound in here. You can make it heavier just as long as you are squeezing those hamstrings, your glutes, and your core when you come up. After doing your warm-up cardio, this is also a good way to increase that lean muscle mass, but also get some more endurance in there. From there, I went straight into front rack squats. I do like doing front squats. My clients will tell you that. This is my 5x5. Somebody was on the squat rack, as you can see. And just making sure, again, not going for depth. Just making sure I'm leading with those elbows and keeping that torso nice and upright. And keeping that even distribution on my foot when I get down there and pushing through my heels up. So I believe I'm using a 25 on each side. And just concentrating on good reps. With a 5x5, I like to go heavy, but I also know where my limit is to go up, right? So I don't want to push through that. Each week I'm going to add into that. That's the point of a program, is to progress in that way. But definitely leading with the elbows up, especially if you have an excessive forward lean in a squat. Adding that counterweight is the best thing you can do. From there, I went straight into straight-legged deadlifts to really target those glutes and hamstrings again, since I am so quad dominant here. This goes straight into my straight sets. So all my straight sets are 3 sets of 12 to 15 in this phase. So really making sure I pull and use my hips as a hinge. So almost sticking my butt back, but letting my back stay flat. So pulling those shoulder blades together, really squeezing the shoulder blades together. You're going to feel this in your quads and your hamstrings. But more in your hamstrings and your glutes if you're doing straight-legged versus a regular deadlift or a sumo deadlift. Definitely making sure you squeeze at the top, but not to hyperextend there, so you don't want to curve back with that bar. Definitely a little bit lighter. I think I had a 25 on each side, so this is definitely lighter than what I usually deadlift. And here it is from the other perspective, so you guys can see what I'm talking about with my hips here. Making sure that I'm really squeezing that back and almost moving straight through my hips. So I kind of like this because in the 12 to 15 rep range, you can really concentrate on each and every single rep because you're not concentrating on getting the weight up as fast as possible from it being a heavy load. I like to kind of look over but keep my head straight as well and really just squeeze. So I'm doing about I think 105 here, which is really simple for me. But again, 12 to 15 reps. From there, I went straight into leg extensions, which is not something I really necessarily need, but I added in because I do like to have really nice looking quads. My quads are pretty dominant, but leg extensions are a great way to add aesthetics into a workout, especially if you want those nice pop of a quad. Huge tip in this, guys, keep those knees right by where that knee pad ends. If you don't, that's where you're going to get a lot of knee pain in, and you're not going to really fully use your quads to extend. So definitely pulling that butt into the chair. You can see here, again, 3 sets of 12 to 15. But what I did do is I added in a couple extra sets just to make sure I'm balanced on each side. For example, my left quad is a lot weaker than my right quad, so it has less definition. Definitely making sure I'm breathing out every single rep. So I did add a couple drop sets in here of just single. You can see I'm kind of dying there for a second, but dropping the weight and going single. Again, making sure I'm pulling the butt into the chair every single time, so I'm really just using that quad to lift up and I'm not cheating out of the movement. A lot of these movements will help you from getting out of cheats out of other things, like the front squat is a lot harder to cheat out of than a back squat, right? So definitely making sure I hit both sides and doing it properly well. I think that's the thing I really love about this program so much. And just really pulling and letting myself feel that burn. Again, you can notice the bottom pad is also not on top of my feet. It is by my ankles. So really just concentrating on balancing each side. A lot of my clients will tell you that I make them hit both sides as well, just so they're balanced out. There's no point in doing something that's going to be easier if it's not going to get you to what you want. So this just adds in a little bit of tension there and just making sure you squeeze very, very well at that top. Also cueing your breathing in this. So again, blow out when you're at the top, so you're really squeezing that quad to get the most out of it. Alright, from that, guys, I went into laying hamstring curls. So again, single leg here and really just going for 12 to 15, on each leg before I go into a double. A great point to this is if you guys aren't really feeling this in your hamstrings or glutes so much, or your hamstrings really, your pelvic floor could be inactive. So a good way to think about this is squeeze, and also think about holding your bladder like you have to pee really bad, right? Or if you're women, do a Kegel. Our pelvic floor actually is what stabilizes our hamstrings, so you're going to feel a lot more if you have that motion going. So again, 12 to 15 on each side. You can see that left side was pretty hard. And again, I'm also making sure I pull those shoulder blades down away from my ears, especially for me with really tight upper traps. that can definitely further that compensation if you're not aware of it. So definitely making sure I'm also not going all the way down. I'm keeping that tension on my hamstring. That's how you build, right? Time under tension is definitely the way we see a lot of growth in upping your weight as well in a movement. I like to go all the way up till I'm touching my butt just to get that extra glute squeeze. And then going right into those double. When I do the double, since this is a lower weight, it's a little bit easier for me. I like to take the time to really slow down the movement back down. That way I'm really getting the full amount of tension here. And that 12 reps feels like 50. Even on a light weight. So just really strengthening that posterior chain is a huge part. And then this last exercise in the program is a lateral step up. I actually got this from Brittany Dawn Fitness. I love her page and her workouts. She's a huge inspiration. And she's very similar to me, very quad dominant, where a lot of strength comes from that. So these lateral step-ups are a little bit of a challenge because of a different plane of motion. But it's also really forcing you to use those heels to push through those glutes, to activate those glutes. Again, 12 to 15 on each side, using a small dumbbell. I think I was using 20 pounds, and making sure that torso stays nice and upright and I'm not coming over my knee. I'm keeping my torso nice and upright and just moving